Welcome back, everyone. It's the NFL Best Bet Show, Week 5, and I'm joined by Sip, and we're back in the lab, and we're ready to go. We're going to add an extra prop this week. We love our props, and we think now that we've got 4 weeks of data, we'll give you a little bit more juice. We're ready to hit the jackpot. Extra prop, extra challenge.
Wow.
Why not?
Okay.
A few teams on buy, Sip, so I feel like we've been able to analyse a few more games.
Fair enough.
Mate, let's start off with, we're going to do our locks again. I said everyone, we're going to get rid of head-to-head because the Jets kind of made us a bit nervous.
We're going to keep going.
Pretty confident with a couple, and we'll keep it going. So I'll start with my lock, and I won't waste much time, but Seattle Seahawks at home against the Giants, your mob. They are a really, really powerful unit on offense and defense, but the Giants, they don't have enough weapons, I don't think. You know, Neighbours is there. The quarterback can use his legs, but they'll contain that, and they don't. They'll eat them up at home. They're very tough to beat at home. So Seattle Seahawks, after a loss last week, they'll bounce back. They'll be my lock. You can get about $1.40, which is not bad when you multiply that into a few things. Sib.
Very, very nice, Tommy. Mine is going to be the Bears. The Bears got going last week against the Rams. Run game was going really well. A lot of power on the offensive side. They come up against Carolina this week that are pretty banged up. A linebacker's gone, D-line's gone, Thielen's out. So everything just lines up perfectly for the Bears to be able to get that done. And they're going to be my lock for this week, mate, at Soldiers Field.
I love it. I really do like that, and it leans into one of my best bets for the week. We'll go to the props. I'm going to go to the run game to start. DeAndre Swift, over 50 rushing yards. The coaching staff mentioned that they wanted to shake it up and give him a few more touches, and he had 23 touches last week to Johnson's 7. Johnson got goal line, like we mentioned, but I really like Swift. You just touched on it. The Panthers are lacking 2 linebackers and 2 of their best, so they'll be out. Opens up a lot of holes. And with Caleb Williams, he's struggling a little bit with his arm. I think he might get going a little bit more this week, but they're going to lean on the run game as they do, and they're going to be winning this game, like you said. So expect DeAndre Swift to go off. And just a little stat to remind you all, but Chase Brown and Zach Moss, they combined for 131 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns, and they also combined for 39 receiving yards off 6 receptions and a touchdown in the air. It's a lot of touchdowns and scrimmage yards. That's all coming from their running backs. I expect Swift to be doing the exact same thing.
Very
and for
nice.
50 rushing yards, $2, you could probably move that right out, but just keep it short and sharp, and let's just go safe. 50 rushing yards, DeAndre Swift. What about you, mate?
I'm going to go in the air to start off with, and I'm going to go with DK Metcalf. I think he's got a great matchup against the Giants. He has been on an absolute tear for the last few weeks, and he looks really good for 70-plus yards, I think. I just think that their offense has got going, and he's just hard to beat. I don't think it doesn't matter what corner's on him at the moment. He is just a monster of a man. He's getting down the field. Route running's been incredible. And the Giants are a bit vulnerable as well. So last week they were up against CD, couldn't stop CD. And I expect DK to be able to continue on his great form. And 70-plus yards looks pretty good for me, pretty juicy.
I like that a lot. He was very stiff not to score a touchdown last week. His ass went down at the 1.
Agree.
I'll go to the air as well, and I'm going to go to the New York Jets wide receiver, Garrett Wilson. 60 yards receiving. Yet to do it on the season, but he's had Patrick Surtain last week. He played San Fran first week, and he's had some tough matchups with weather as well. He goes to London. They're there to promote the game, but that's not why I'm picking him. The Vikings are giving up a league high 221 receiving yards to the position, and the second most targets per game to wide receivers. So it's all about the wide receivers in this game. Mike Williams has got going, Lazard, but I know for a fact that their number 1 is Garrett Wilson, and he's a bit frustrated, and 60 yards is not a lot. All he needs is a big explosive play. I expect him to do a little bit more, and he used to torch the Vikings. Last year went for 160 yards against them. So there's a lot of stats there for you that really say this is a bounce-back game for Garrett Wilson. And the Vikings are favoured. So maybe hopefully the Jets are behind and they're playing catch-up. But I think Garrett Wilson this week will be my best bet in the air for 60-plus receiving yards to get you $2.
Oh, that's good.
All right, Sip, who else have you got for our double prop of the week?
I'm going to go to the ground this time, and I'm going to go with Jordan Mason. So Jordan Mason's got a matchup against the Cardinals this week. They've been leaking a little bit on the ground. Last week, They had Washington. Robinson had a big game, 100 yards. Mason's been on absolute tear as well, been unstoppable, and we all know how good San Francisco's running game is. And I think he's very comfortable going at 80-plus yards this week. So he's going really, really well. They just keep feeding him the ball. He's delivering. 80-plus yards for me looks really, really good against a matchup against the Cardinals that have been hard. They haven't been able to get the job done right now in the ground game. So that's going to be my man this week.
They got smacked last week by Washington.
Absolutely smacked. And the ground game, they just haven't been able to stop right now. And I think that Mason's just got a really good matchup there.
Love it. Well, let's go to our touchdown scorers. We've been hot all year. The hardest market, I reckon, is touchdown scorers. It's probably the silliest market traditionally, but it's so much fun. And there's a lot of juice within these touchdown scorers. I will start with a guy that is on our Stewie Dew list, but he gets the best matchup of the round on paper, and that is Josh Jacobs, the running back for the Green Bay Packers. He is going to get an anytime touchdown, in my opinion. He goes up against the Rams defense. It's allowing the fourth highest success rate, 57%. DeAndre Swift got it right last week. He went for 93 and 1, and he also went for 72 in the air, but I expect Josh Jacobs to get a goal line. And they also, I reckon when you're a new player, the team knows that you haven't scored, and they'll be looking forward to getting around him. So it's a little bit of that as well, but I expect him to score. I expect Green Bay to win that game, and I expect them to be up and at the goal line a fair bit because we know how banged up the Rams are. So looking forward to seeing Josh Jacobs get in the end zone this week.
Awesome. My man is going to be Brandon Ayuk.
Oh, no.
He is also on our Stewie Dew.
120 mil is he on?
Just a lazy 120 mil. Hasn't scored yet. And this week is going to be the week, I'm sure. It's a really good matchup. I know I went with Mason, but in terms of the ground game, but it's a really good matchup for San Francisco overall against the Cardinals. And Brandon Ayuk, I think, finds himself in the end zone finally after the few weeks that he's had. So he probably should. He's been paid a lot of money now to find himself in the end zone. So I think this week has to be the week. And he's at about 230. So I think that's pretty good odds now, and I'm very happy to be able to go with that. So he's my anytime touchdown for this week.
That is great. We've added an extra prop in, guys. We've done probably an extra 6 hours of research because we were both filthy with a couple of our decisions last week. Me in particular with Mark Andrews, who dropped a 30-yard catch, which would have been 3 from 3. But Sip was done by 3 yards, which is just ridiculous. But that's probably because
they're 1 point.
That's because Washington were up by so much. It's just the way it goes. But looking forward to this week. We love all your support. I hope you're enjoying our Best Bet show. That's our Week 5 preview for you all. We'll get them up online and take them individually, multiply them, do what you want. But we know if you take your touchdowns together, they generally hit.
They're going okay.
I won't curse them early.
Yeah,
but
hopefully not.
Wish you some luck. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week for our NFL Best Bet show.